open it, there are goodies inside there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that iconic, shall I say, speech, if you will, that we heard from Dr. Bawumia is claimed to be, in fact, plagiarized. That one that we often play, but Ghanaians are suffering, teacher trainees are suffering.
Right.
They're saying all of that it's alleged that it wasn't an original thought.
So the APC launched theirs on Thursday.
On Thursday.
And then the NPP did theirs on the weekend. Right? So if I publish mine first and mine has these things and I'm not a member of your party, okay, I used to be with you, but I'm no more. I'm not even a member of your manifesto committee. How did I get the document? That's a question that Razak Opoku had asked. And then Ayuko said, well, we know our committee. We know what we wrote. And we disagree with them that we stole from them. We obviously couldn't have stolen from them and all of that. But that's history. I just brought you the historical perspective of what exists. And you can only get it here on 3FM 92.7. Nobody will give you that. We are the only ones who will give you that. We'll go back into detail, and that was an interview I personally conducted. So, yeah.
Good one from the archives. This is your election command center.
It is. We are the specialists. 19 minutes after 8. Go back to 2020. The voices you heard earlier were that of Ambassador Ayikwe Otu and Razak Kojo-Poku. But now they're united in party because now they are all members of the NPP, even though Ayikwe Otu at some point went to the line of Afrafranto Alan Tremanting, but when Alan Tremanting broke away from the party and decided not to stay with the NPP, well, he decided to stay with the NPP because it's NPP through and through. Well, this is President Akufo-Addo in 2020. Well, some bit of what he said at the Manifesto launch. That was the year that he said 4 more to do more, right? To give him this 8-year tenure, the second half of the 8-year tenure. Listen to him.
Vice President, Second Lady, the second President of the Fourth Republic, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor, members of the Council of State, Ogwamaihe Osaberima Kwesi-Arthur II, Chief of Staff in the Office of the President, and officials of the Presidency, Central Regional Minister and your Deputy, Senior Minister, Ministers and Deputy Ministers of State, Majority Leader and Members of Parliament, the National Chairman, National, Regional and Constituency Officers of the New Patriotic Party, members of the New Patriotic Party National Council, Chairman and members of the NPP Council of Elders, representatives of other political parties, traditional rulers, dean and members of the diplomatic corps, members and followers of the New Patriotic Party, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. It is a joy to be in this celebrated ancient city of Cape Coast, the capital of the Central Region, the Athens of Africa,
3FM,
to undertake our activity of today, the launching of the NPP 2020 Manifesto. We're doing so in a region that gave us a massive endorsement in 2016. For which we continue to be grateful, and whose mandate everything to fulfill. We're honored by the attendance of no less a personage than the traditional landlord, Osaberima Kwesi-Arthur II, Ogwamaihe, who has chosen to grace the occasion with his presence. Osaberima, thank you for being here.
3FM 92.7.
The manifesto represented for me a solemn social contract between the electorate and the elected. I had entered into the contract by signing the document on my behalf and that of the MPP. By voting for us on 7th December 2016, the Ghanaian people that also signed their part of the contract, giving us the mandate to implement the ideas in the manifesto. I said I fully understood the consequence of putting my signature to a contract. I know that some people do not accord much worth to a manifesto, but I do. And we of the MPP have always taken our manifestos seriously because we believe politics is serious business. And asking for the mandate of the people to govern is serious business. We believe that citizens must be treated with respect. Once given the mandate to govern, we are bound by the promises that we make to the good people of Ghana. We set about translating the promises into concrete programs. I said, when we were asking for the mandate to govern, that I want a Ghana where government is accountable to the electorate, not with artist impressions of projects and green books, but with cold facts and figures. Fellow Ghanaians, you would have noticed, therefore, that all the presentations that have been made today have gone into great detail in providing a clear accounting of what we have done in the 3 years and 8 months we have been in office. I want to thank all the men and women, including the Vice President, who made these solid presentations. I take pride especially in 2 things that have characterized the implementation of our programs. We have succeeded at equitable distribution, which means all parts of the country have been touched by our policies, and we have delivered value for money.
3FM 92.7.
I take pride in the fact the free SHS and free TVET have been delivered, and our young people and their parents and guardians know that they will no longer be forced to stop school at JHS level because of financial difficulties. It was not easily done, and so we intend to protect it and prevent any so-called review, another word for cancellation.
3FM 92.7.
And prevent any so-called review, another word for cancellation. We have no reason to believe the NDC presidential candidate's newly proclaimed conversion to free SH and free TVET. For 8 years, he and his party were loud in their assertions that they did not believe in free SHS and free TVET. They did not like the idea, they rubbished it at every opportunity, and they proclaimed that it would destroy Ghana's educational system. When they were in office, they had a hard time trying to run even their watered-down version of their so-called progressively free education. Then the former president said he would review it, and now we hear him say it has come to stay.
3FM 92.7.
Excellency, please try another one. Your credibility on this one is 0.
$20, 4 years for Nana. 2020 years for Nana. 2020, 4 years for Nana.
3FM Sunrise.
2020 years for Nana. 2020 years for Nana. 2020 years for Nana. Wakanu Brenti, Napa Miki Nana. 2020
One of the songs that Well, so down memory lane and cancellation and review, are they the same? You are the prophylactic one here. Are they the same?
Oh, no. I don't think that you can say that they're the same thing. If you're reviewing something, you're maybe taking a step back to look at how it is being implemented, how it is progressing. Of course, cancellation means that you put a stop to it. It doesn't progress any further. A review could mean so many different things.
So why was the president politicking with the education of our future? You know, I thought that was too low, because now the government itself is talking about a review. Doesn't mean that the government is contemplating on cancelling free SHS. I mean, sometimes, and this morning I had cause to say to Mr. President, there's statesmanship after you have left power. You know, if people see you as being power drunk and party drunk, that statesmanship will not come to you. It will not be accorded you, because the people need to get to a point where they can say that this man is a statesman. You know, like the professor that runs the Kufuor Foundation now. You know, he's a party person, but when he speaks, you can tell that this is a statesman. You can tell that this is a statesman. You know, we need to get to a point where that statesmanship naturally comes to us. I mean, and for example, free SHS, which is one of the big promises, yes, implemented. But if we're to do a proper analysis of it, you know, this morning I had cause to cry about WASI, visual arts, practicals, money that have not gone to them. I'm sure the home economics students will also have their own challenges that, you know, they've also not gotten their monies. So this review is important that we have. But who will begin the conversation? Because already the president set a very wrong tone at UCC in 2020 by suggesting to us that a review means cancellation. And that is what has prevented us from getting everybody who knows how to do what we want to do into a room to say, let's look at it. What can we change? What can we improve? What can we take away? You know, we have not been able to do it. And you realize that either we are under-educating the next generation, miseducating them, or confusing them. And which in itself is not a good thing, because we've always had that disconnect between academia and industry.
That's right.
And the kind of things they are taught in school, including the soft skills that they learn along the line, should be beneficial to the place of work or the world of work, and should bring some impact and profit and all those metrics that you'd want to measure them against. If now they are not getting quality time in school, they're getting confused because I get into Form 1, there are no Form 2s and Form 3s. I am all by myself on my own. There's no chance for mentorship. Or by the time I get in there, the Form 3s are getting ready to go and sit for their WASI, right? So I get in there, and they are busy writing their papers or learning to go and write their papers. They don't have time for me to come and be mentoring me. So I'm there. I try and learn my own thing. I mean, that was not the way we were introduced into secondary school. You get into secondary school, there are Form 2s and Form 3s, 2 layers of seniors that you can look up to. You know, the good ones, you know, the bad guys, you associate, and they teach you, okay, we do this here, we don't do that here.
That's an extra level of supervision.
Exactly. And this, if you want to learn, you want to ace your exam, this is what you do. Join the study group, don't join that. Most of the people who went to secondary schools within the short period did not have access, you know, an opportunity for that. Even if they did, it would have been very, very short. I mean, there are people who attended the same school, right? They're done. Let's say they went to maybe an Disadel or a Hot Cast or a Crack Academy or in any of the boarding schools, and they will never meet each other.
They don't even know each other.
They don't know. So I say, oh, I'm with the year group. They say, I don't know you. You know, it's not a joke. It's a serious thing, because the whole essence of boarding schools is to make sure that we're properly integrating, so that somebody can come from Gwolu, or can come from Bogu, where I'm a sub-chief, and come to Cape Coast and come and hobnob with somebody from Axim, okay, because they are in the same school, and they form that bond right from the get-go, and they become friends for life, they become professionals, they have ties, they have connections, you know. But we seem to be breaking that thing down. It's not
you know
cool.
what? Professor Champo described it as not only is it winner takes all, but winner knows all.
But does a winner know everything?
And that's the thing. Increasingly, we've made our political landscape so hostile for collaboration. It's like it's not even on the table. This idea of bringing others together. And I think you recall the Century Report, for example. I'm only digressing very slightly to make a point.
Go ahead.
And the IMF themselves came back and said that was one of the better, well put together IMF plans that they had seen, at least coming out of Ghana. And I definitely believe it was because of that collaboration. When we come together, we put our best brains together. And we work towards a nationalistic goal, only good things can happen. But now we see that everybody is so entrenched in their position. As soon as one person brings out a policy idea, the opponent is quick to rubbish it. So you have something, for example, 24-hour economy. Somebody says, oh, you will no longer be able to sleep with your wives. To the point that we make such ridiculous arguments that
be talking
we don't even sift through to see, well, what can we improve? What can we tweak? And for me, that's my biggest worry, that now politics has become so filled with, I don't even know what to even call it, laced with so much disdain. I don't even know whether I can use the word hate if it is too strong. Acrimony. There's just, somebody wouldn't even say, you know what, you are a political opponent, but what you are saying, there's merit to it. In fact, I can agree with you.
And you see that with those who are intellectual enough and want to be very honest. They say, look, I belong to this ideology, but what you're saying makes a lot of sense. We can pick it, and then we can see how we tweak it to fit into our present circumstances. We should be able to have that and have those conversations. I don't get why it has to be, we have to be stuck in party manifestos to the point where even if the manifesto promise or policy has a fault, we'll have to leave it for those who are introducing us to that policy to go and fix it, when clearly he who is carving the path may not know that the path is crooked. Somebody who is standing afar would have to, and observing, would have to say, oh, you're getting it wrong here, you're getting it wrong. The feedback is good.
That's right.
And I think that on that particular score, the government has failed to take the necessary feedback because they politicized free SHS to the point where the opposition has to tag along and also politicize it. I mean, the opposition at the time said, oh, it's not possible.
That's right.
You have to take a gradualist approach to all of this. They said, no. So we will go ahead and run it. You have gone ahead and run it. But since 2017, when you began, up to 2024, you should have at least done one major review of a sort, and check at least when the year 2020 came to a close and you were planning on, sustaining it for until 2024. You could have paused and done a proper, analysis. And you don't like the consultants. You have the Anissa Affairs and all of them, the Clementa Parks, all those who have been in education. In fact, Anissa Affa, I understand now there's some consultants who work for the Ministry of Education or something like that. So you don't lack the professionals around you. Chegana is there. You have all the people. So why do we make it look as if we don't have people, and now we are trying to import people or arrange to get people into the country to help us? I don't get it. I don't get it. And you see, it has a direct impact on the students.
That's right.
Look, WASI will end. These students who have not received their monies for their practical exam, whatever it is, they are the same students who the government will expect for them to go and queue to vote in a certain direction. Now, if you, when you needed the state the most, the state failed you, what will be running through your mind? Two things. Either you won't go and queue and vote, or you will go and vote, but you decide to vote against the state that failed you when you needed it the most. Because it appears to me that the state is just interested in using the numbers, statistics, or X number of people benefited from free SHS, and X number of them passed the exam.
Yeah.
And X number of them are making their way to the university. What about those who have been left behind?
But interestingly, John, you talk about numbers, and I'll get those full figures in due course so that all of us can follow along with it. The numbers actually now suggest that with all these students we're seeing entering senior high school,
Right.
Off the back of free secondary school, the numbers that are actually exiting, it's in stark contrast. In
So the
fact, the
numbers that are
numbers are
getting-
dwindling, and that's something I don't know whether, as a people, a statistic that we're averting our minds. So I'll get those figures for us at least before the week ends, and we can really see that a review is necessary, because it's one thing to have so many people entering because of free senior high school, but those that are exiting, when you put the numbers together, Johnny, there is a big gap, and it's something we are not looking at. So are they leaving because actually they get in there and they realize free is not really free. Parents are still forking out a lot of money.
A lot of cash.
Also, the food situation, not all the students can also bear some of the harsh realities of free senior high school, the bedding situation, the amenities, and so on and so forth. Some are getting sick. We know some schools where there are bed bugs and all of those different challenges. So that's something that also has to be thought about. We are happy to tout the numbers that are going into free senior high school, but what about the numbers after? What is the real impact? Many can go, but if they are not finishing, are we really getting value for money? Is it just about, so many and so many went, how many exited?
And it's a big question you ask, because you get into the schools, and so, for example, this visual arts thing I'm talking about, and it's very dear to my heart. If you are a science student, I did science in school: physics, chemistry, biology, elective maths. Now, if you are a science student, you, for example, will need the school will have to provide the reagents, it has to provide the acids, the base, the tighter stuff. If you're going to do physics, the swing for pendulum, and all, you calculate the oscillation, all those things have to be provided by the school. You don't have to buy them, right? So if on exam day, you get there for your chemistry practicals or physics practicals, and government has not sent money for them to be able to procure the stuff that you need to be able to calculate the tighter value and to do the practicals and all of that, then there's a problem. It means that you cannot sit for that exam. And WAEC could not come and say that, because government did not provide the monies for it. It could be, that the fact that some schools will be able to have their parents put money together and they won't come and make noise about it, that government is supposed to provide this, they have not provided, and we are doing it, and so the headmaster is charging us, or whatever it is. Same for those who do home economics, food items, right? Sometimes they have a shortage of LPG in the school. Sometimes saucepans and the utensils that they use. You understand? All those things come to play. Then visual arts, whether it's a canvas they're using, or they're using sheets and the palettes, color palettes, and everything else. Those things are things that over the years have been provided, whether they're doing tie and dye or batik or whatever it is. And they test them. These are things that they have been taught in school, or supposed to have been taught in school. So they would test them to make sure that they have their hands on the practicality of these things. Because if I learn how to do tie and dye in secondary school, or in JSS, then as life skills and all of that, if I truncate my education even at that level, I can start a small tie and dye business if I get the capital to do it. Now, if you block the funds that are supposed to help them to practicalize what it is that they have for them to be certified, because my WAEC certificate and all of that, then what's the essence of the school? That's one. Now, you talked about food.
Yeah.
There's some of the children who go to school and their parents will have to go and give them food every weekend.
That's right.
Because there's food shortage. There has been food shortage in school, where some of the children drink what they call cocoa sakura.
But Napo says there's so much food teachers are taking from the students.
You see, it's not about what somebody says. It is about what is on the ground, right? Children are asked to bring their own sugar and their own milk to the dining hall. It didn't happen when I was in school. I'm not sure it happened when you were in school.
We were provided.
There was bread available.
Yes.
You would have boiled egg. Sometimes, if the gods are good, you have margarine or you have groundnut paste.
Yeah.
Right? You have sugar, you have milk, you have your porridge or rice porridge, or you have rocks. Ublayu. You had them. You didn't have to beg anybody.
You had to just go with your cup and plate.
Bowl.
That's it.
Go and pick it. That's all. How is it that we get to a point where children have cocoa sakura and sometimes they eat rice porridge or rice water, as they call it, in the morning? They eat plain rice in the afternoon, and then they eat jollof rice in the evening. So the whole day is just rice meal, because in the stores they have only rice. How did we get here? And there's a reality, it's a conversation that must be had. I mean, put politics aside, but it's a conversation because we are not being fair to the young people of the country. We are mistreating them and hoping that in future we will get some sense of patriotism from them. It doesn't work that way. And I'm saying that most of the people who today are supervising the kind of education that we have, where all these things I mentioned are finished and are not available, had the best of education in the country. Some of them even at the university level, had breakfast, lunch, and supper. To the point where at some point they even went on demonstration and said that they are by the sea. The students are Lagos. They are by the sea and they've been eating too much chicken. They want fish. They went on a demonstration. There's a history to prove that nobody can rewrite that history.
That's right.
The term academic pomposity or akapompo comes from the Wednesday dinner, 3-course dinner, free of charge, where you had to wear your gown or your tuxedo and appear. 3-course dinner every Wednesday. It's in the books, we know. How is it that those people enjoy that? When it gets to the next generation, food is short. We have spent money to do planting for food and jobs. We can't find the money. We can't find the food. We can't find the jobs. And everybody is okay. Everything is okay. And you talk about it, you are enemy of the state number one. How? How did we arrive there? So those children whose parents cannot provide the food for them, they leave. Mind you, the whole concept of school feeding program, and then this free SHS thing, which is supposed to be free, but we know that it is not entirely free, right? It's supposed to keep the children in school for somebody not to come and say that, I went to the farm with my mother because there was nothing at home for me to eat before coming to school, or I don't know what I'm going to eat so at least one hot meal a day.
That's right.
Go back to the secondary schools. As part of the free SHS component, day students are supposed to get a hot meal a day. Go and check if they get it.
They're not getting it?
I say go and check. So you see the monies that are being thrown at the policy, and you see the funds that the policy is getting, but you go on the ground and the picture is completely different. And you ask yourself, so who are we really fooling? Because if we have a problem and we refuse to diagnose the problem and find solutions for the problem will always be with us. And that's what we have. So I feel very bad that the president politicized a review and says another word for review is cancellation. I thought the president was being very disingenuous and dishonest on that stage. I don't know who he was trying to please, but it's off. I remember so well that in the early days when we wanted to start free SHS, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta brought up a very brilliant proposal. His own party people poo-pooed it and kicked against him. They literally shut him down. He said, there's no way that he, Ken Ofori-Atta, would take his children to, say, Wesley Girls or Fanspim or any of those schools and then just drive off because the government says it's free when he knows he can afford it to pay for 3 or 4 people or maybe more. He brought that proposal and he said, look, we should identify those who can pay and those who cannot pay. If I take my son or Brimpong or Kuku or Saberima to school, I can pay by the grace of God. So why would I go and be fighting over something that maybe a young man's son, single parent, she sells orange, makes maybe 20 cedis a day, is living hand to mouth. And I go and I also say, if you are giving her free, then give me also free. That would be greedy on my part. When did we lose the fellow feeling? When? So that everybody free and people are happy. You find people on TV who are well-to-do to say that, oh, if you are not being for free SHS, all the people who used to come to me for support, right?
Right.
They don't come to me anymore. Well, that's good. Then they go on to add that, oh, even my relatives who live with me also go and they get it for free. How? How? So everything is Opu free. How?
I mean, when you highlight some of the problems that the free SHS system is facing, you have government actors saying that that is not the case. I don't know whether we are being gaslit. A lot of heads of schools as well don't come out and tell us exactly what is going on for fear of victimization. So that sort of culture of silence is also festering within the secondary schools. Nobody wants to speak up about what exactly is going on.
The teachers are afraid to speak up.
That's right.
Because the moment they speak up, they will be victimized.
Yeah.
You go to the secondary schools, children are lying on the floor. Go to the secondary schools. If you're on your old school platform, you'll see requests coming that they want support for the school.
It always comes.
If you're on any of those parent association pages, and I don't know who thought of that novel idea that children leave home, they leave their parents, right? They go to school, are taught by teachers, right? And then they come back to their parents. Then we have a parents association minus the teachers. We have always known parents teachers association. So you've taken the teachers off the platform where my child's welfare and that of another parent and another parent's child is supposed to be considered. And the person who we are all going to leave our children for is not on their platform because somebody says it is free and so don't bring the teachers in. It doesn't make sense. So for the schools that are smart enough, they still have the teachers on the pages.
On the platforms, yeah.
Because any education is a collaborative effort. It's a collaborative effort. Parents and teachers together raise the children and groom them. So it should not just be about the sloganeering, free SHS, free SHS, does it. It's a good thing. I've said it too many times. I can't belabor the point. But I'm saying the implementation has issues. And we can only be honest about fixing the issues if we identify them and say, look, this is not about party. It's about our future. It's about go to other countries that our children will grow up to go and compete with. And go and check the kind of education that they are getting, the quality. And education here, we talk access and quality. So there's access, but is there quality?
That's right.
Is there quality? The children are lying on the floor. Some of the children are lying on the floors in school. They are lying on the floor in school. They are. They are lying on the floor in school. Anyway, listen to our education minister. Listen to him in 2020.
FM 92.7.
My name is Dr. Yaosei Educhum. I'm the Deputy Minister for Education in charge of General Education and also a Member of Parliament for the good people of Osomtwe. Today, I want to take you on an adventure with me. An adventure that takes a look at the bold vision of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President, and his Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. An adventure that began with the implementation of free senior high school, a campaign promise that was made by the President, a promise that has been delivered. I want you to join me as we look at TVET transformation. Through the leadership of the Minister for Education, TVET has been transformed. Technical vocational education and training is no longer the preserve of students who don't do well in schools. A major agenda has been embarked upon. Skills assessment has been done so that we know the areas that we need to focus on. And then the transformation has begun. A 5-year TVET transformation agenda is being implemented. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana that you know is a Ghana that is different now because somebody dreamt and somebody did the hard work. In this country of ours, even in the 1960s, the vast majority of our students did not gain access to secondary schools because there were limited facilities. Then we came into the 2000s, and every year 100,000 students were sitting at home because they could not afford to pay the fees that were being charged by our institutions. Then comes a bold leader. A leader who says, I'm not going to leave any child behind. A leader who says, I will have to ensure that every child, irrespective of which part of the country you were born and you were growing up in, will have access to quality secondary education. So today, when we talk about the story of Free Senior High School, it's not just a campaign promise. The New Patriotic Party knows that. We know that education is the difference maker. Education is what transforms societies. Education is what takes a young man from a village and make him somebody so that they can sit in a hall like this. Education is what has brought all of us together here on this great day. And it is that kind of education that we want every child to have. It is that kind of commitment that was made to the good people of Ghana, and the president and the vice president and the entire party structure has rallied together, and we have delivered. But make no mistake about it. On December 7th, education is on the ballot. And not just any education, quality education is on the ballot. To the good people of Ghana, give me a minute. And let me let you know at this point, the decision we make on December 7th has wide ramifications for the future of this country. When we vote for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, this nation will be forever transformed. Education is going to play its rightful role. No child will be left behind, and sometimes when we talk about no child being left behind, we forget that when we leave a child behind, we are leaving the country behind. So it's not just about leaving a child behind. When we don't tap all the talent of the people across the length and breadth of this country, and we only tap into the talent of the few who are privileged like myself,
3FM,
we are leaving the country behind. And that is not what we can afford to do. So December 7th, when you go to the polls, you are going to the polls to vote for hope. You are going to the polls to vote for transformation. You are going to the polls to vote for a leader who is fiercely determined that the fortunes of this nation will forever be transformed. And that through education, a young man growing up in Bangkok in the Bosomtwe district will one day get an opportunity to go to secondary school, get an opportunity to go to the university, transform the fortunes of his life and that of his family, and then be able to look back and say, because of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, my life has changed. That is a nation that we want to rally every one of you to join us and vote for, and ensure that this nation will forever be transformed. We must understand that a generation empowered will empower this nation forever. Mr. President, we are grateful for your leadership. Mr. Vice President, we are grateful for your leadership. And it is my hope that the good people of Ghana will vote for hope and not despair. Thank you. Thank you. God bless MPP and God bless Ghana.
So,
The best in the morning is on 92.
that was the song that Justin Kuria from Pon sang at the campaign launch, the outdooring of Napo.
What song was he singing?
This one.
No, we will.
When the party general secretary starts singing that, you start asking questions. How can you not know where you are going?
Oh, we are going. Well, we'll get there.
Okay. I hear you. So you heard the minister, the deputy minister, now minister for education.
Yeah.
He had high hopes. 4 years down the line. What's the story? He said, if you leave the child behind, it's not just the child you're leaving behind, but you're leaving the nation behind. You raised the question about the numbers that are entering, that are announced, and the numbers that are leaving after the 3-year period in secondary school. And there could be sundry reasons.
That's right.
When he held the state of education, he never spoke about the disparities in the numbers. And that's a worry.
That's right.
Are we now concealing information from the people who pay for the children to be educated? So are we giving an honest and clear report, holistic report? Or are we hiding some of the information from the people because it doesn't make us look good? And is it all about looking good?
It's important.
Because no mother would want to look too, no responsible mother, let me put it that way, would want to look too posh when the children have not eaten. They look dirty, untidy, unkempt, and they are all over the place. No mother who is worth her salt would do. If any mother who does that, it's not correct. Same goes to a father too. That your people are hungry at home, and every day you're looking shepherd on the streets.
That's right.
It doesn't work that way. So I would wish that the people in the room would have done some introspection now and go back and say, like, no, this has to change. Because pre-SHS in its current form, if we progress the way we are going, we are heading next to nowhere.
We have to take the party lenses off.
It is education. It's not,
Exactly.
And I've said there are 5 things we should never politicize in this country. Unfortunately, we have politicized them all. Education is 1. Health is number 2. Economy is number 3. Agric is number 4. Security is number 5. The day we decide to politicize it, they all have ramifications. Our nation is finished. Unfortunately, we have politicized them all.
That's right.
We have politicized everything. I was telling somebody the other time that, and this is a difficult conversation for me to have, but I was telling somebody the other time that look at the security architecture that we have in the country. And here I'm not being tribalistic, I'm just trying for us to pay attention to what's happening. All the security heads, except that of fire service, as accounts, as the leaders. IGP RPA2, IGP Dampare. You go to prisons. You go to immigration. You go to GRA, Customs Division. You go to BNI. You go to National Security. Name it. You go to Yoko. Name it, just name it. And this is not being tribalistic. There's a reason we have to be regionally balanced. In what at some point in this country, we had Peter Namfuri as head of police from the north. Then you had somebody from the Volta region in charge of fire service. Then you had somebody. So it was a mix. Who is the head of the army? So you see, it's running through for all of it. Maybe it's a coincidence. And that is why when you have top police officers, right, come together to say we have formed a section, our tribal section, and we are going to make a donation to our king. It's a problem. Who are we recruiting into our security services? And what are we recruiting them for? And how are we recruiting them? why are we recruiting them? And when are we recruiting them? And who is recruiting them? It's a serious question that we need to ask.
How do we even begin to get into a conversation like this?
No, but so we must have it.
In fact, what is the starting point, Johnny?
We must have it at some point. Because if you don't take care, and then you have one or two tribes overshadowing all the other tribes, it is a problem. That is why even in government, those who get positions, they say there has to be regional balance. There's a reason, the framers of the Constitution, there's a reason. So everybody gets their share of the national cake in whatever form it is. If you tell me, for example, that you are recruiting people and there's a backlog, if the cutoff age is, let's say, 24, right? And you apply in 2020 at age 24 or 22. By 2024, would you still be 22 or 24?
No.
You'd be 26.
That age.
So if at that time I say there's a backlog and I'm now recruiting the backlog, will I be recruiting old men and old women, or will I be recruiting young people who are supposed to be now formed? Because the training is supposed to form you, take something out of you and imbibe something into you. You see where the problem is?
Yeah.
And then the worst part is where these recruitments, according to members of parliament, are done secretly. I have shown videos of people and I say that sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you saw them. They were wearing, some were wearing
Slippers.
Chinese combat slippers, Crocs, and are training school. So what are we doing to ourselves? Are we really interested in securing our country? Or we're just interested in just padding the numbers to say? I heard the interior minister the other talking about the fact that when the MPP came into power, they had about just 4,000 immigration officers. Now they have, a balloon. Now mine, we're happy. What is the quality?
What is the motivation?
What is the motive? What's the quality? The quality first, and then the motivation. If you can disqualify people based on height, and I'm walking in town disqualified, just my height, right? I'm maybe 5'2" or 5'3", and you want 5'7", so you disqualify me, and I'm walking in town, and I see somebody who is 4'9", who is wearing the uniform that I could have worn with my height, and I'm taller than that person. How would you make me feel? And I see that that person is not of my height. I'm taller than the person. You rejected me, who is taller than the person, and pick somebody who is way shorter than me. How do you want me to feel? It's a conversation we must have, whether we like it or not.
Johnny, you said it. You underscored it. You said it's a difficult conversation.
Yes.
That's why I say, what is the starting point? How do you launch a...
We have launched it.
Okay.
We have launched it.
Okay.
We'll talk about breast milk in a while, but let's hear from you as well. What do you think? This education thing. As for this security thing, was a digression. This education thing. 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. Review does not mean cancellation. Don't mind the president. That is not the proper thing to say. But let's hear you. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm alive. How are you too, sir?
I'm fine. This is Elon from Pokwasi.
Talk to me, bro. What's your assessment?
Johnny, this education matter, it's one of the scams this government have brought upon us.
Oh.
Last time there was someone in your studio that explained vividly what the agenda is. They loot as many as they can, give the little pennies around, and then flag it as be so propagandistics about it. Every day now nothing is their point anymore. USHS 24/7 every day. Brother man, this morning I'm working and I picked somebody from the junction, a trader.
Right.
She sells tomatoes and those vegetables and cooking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The woman was lamenting. If I tell you what her lamentations were, it's just simple. We live in a country now where somebody is doing domestic trading to just survive. She goes to buy an item from the market.
Right.
Let's say she buys something in 20 cities. She transports it down to over here. She's going to sell, maybe she put only 2 cedi on it.
Right.
And she's selling for 22 cedis. The person thinks that she has made profit of 2 cedi. By the time the person will go back to the market again, now the same thing that was 20 cedis, not even maybe 27 cedis. So maybe even the 2 cedi that the person thought she has made as a profit, she now has to go and find a way to add 5 cedi to the 2 cedi to make 27 cedi.
Right.
And then it's become a situation where people now cannot even make little business because you are not able to tell the next price if you are going back to the market to buy and come and sell.
Okay, thank you. I hear you.
And they are destroying lives of people, like small lives. I mean, just imagine somebody just depending on the smallest thing, they are taking everything away from us. Even now, toffee cry, we cannot buy for our little brothers and sisters. They are there talking about PSHS.
I hear you. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, Nick Hughes.
Yeah. Challenge your Jubai Titan.
You were Romo.
Amen.
Johnny, this whether free SHS or free education, the simple question is, what mechanism are we deploying to take care of the free? Who is going to pay? Because economics taught us that there's no free lunch.
That's right.
And I keep saying that apart from the Upper West, I've been to every region in Ghana. And if you look at the fundamentals with education, education as a sector has sectors within that sector. And if we take it sector by sector, have we fulfilled all the necessary requirements to offer free education or free SHS? Ota class you know na ke to ehun ba class school go ye greater car to majinga no you don't need to even knock the door. The door is already open. Cupboards and everything are open. The classroom itself is nothing to write home about. So if you are talking about free, and we have problems at the
basic level,
when are we solving and saying that now we have done the basics, we have done the fundamentals right? So let's start giving free, education or free SHS to people.
Okay.
Those who have that idea long 100 years ago, they have vision for the free that they were calling for.
Right.
But now everybody is our focus is on the food, so that you free. You won't ask where the food is coming from.
Okay.
You don't look at the content of the food. All you know is that food is coming from somewhere and you are going to consume. The next day you wake up and you go there, but you don't ask what constitutes that food that you are enjoying.
I hear you.
We are begging the politicians. They should go around the country, comb through the community and look at how those infrastructures are. I'm a big problem. I can buy and I can school.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And Helen, there's one of the schools I showed to you.
Right.
One of the E-blocks that John Mahama built is now a warehouse. They are drying maize. It's Ghana. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny. This is Christian from East Legon.
Chris, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Talk to me, bro.
Johnny,
yes.
You know one funny thing?
No, sir.
We are in this country and you said we are planting for food and jobs. Yesterday I bought pear. One small pear was costing 15 cedis. I was talking to the woman and I said, pear, 15 cedis. She said, yes. Because we are importing pear from Togo. We are importing oranges from Togo. We are importing carrots from Togo. So then I asked myself, how? Carrots, oranges. When we were young, you just pass by one corner, you see an orange tree or mango tree or pear tree, then you pluck them. Then we are saying we are planting for food and we are planting for food and jobs. Then we are importing these basic things. It's sad. This country, I don't think we are heading towards the right direction because, important. No, I don't understand.
I hear you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, boss.
This morning on your bike, you made mention of Canadian Japan, saying something that they should come and apologize to Ghanaians.
That's right.
Before Ghanaians can vote for them. I want to give him this message. We have already decided what we are going to do in this year election. Who we are going to vote for.
I see.
So that is apology that he's telling his people to come and do. It is not necessary.
I hear you.
And even if you check the way he said it, he said it in a way that because they want to win votes, so they should come and what? Apologize. They should accept their mistakes.
Okay.
They are not come to apologize in a sense that they have offended this country, they have decided, they have disappointed us, so they are come to apologize. No. Apologize because they want to win votes.
I hear you.
And
Thank you.
Made our life down again. You see, Ghanaians, we are now awake. We are now awake.
Okay, thank you very much.
You cannot come and destroy this country.
We hear you. Thank you. Let somebody also have a chance. Thank you. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, Johnny, this is Kwame.
Kwame.
Yes, thank you for the good work you're doing.
Thank you.
I wanted to set some things straight. You were saying that the heads of the security institutions in Ghana and perhaps most of the, most of the state institutions in Ghana are headed by the account. But I even want to say that it is not all the accounts. In fact, if you look at it, you take a good look at it and see how many funds are heading some of these positions. It's mainly Ashantis and Achims. So when you are saying this, please don't make it like the whole account.
Okay, I hear you.
Most of the time, NPP will sideline the Fantis. And so, please, you always qualify it. Don't make it the whole of account.
I hear you, my boss. Thank you very much. Grateful. Well, I see, Helen, I told you this this is a difficult conversation to have. I told you. Well, I'm just looking at a photo that I took with Dr. Joyce Ayi in 2013, World Breastfeeding Day. And I emceed the lunch.
You look like you needed some nutrients.
We're going to talk about breastfeeding in a while. Yeah. Good morning, final caller.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning, bro.
Yeah, please, how are you? And how is the family?
Everybody is fine. Go ahead with your point. What's your name and location, please?
My name is Paulo. I'm calling from New Joabin South, Kufu area.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You are talking about how is the country heading towards. I would say that our education system, you are going to school, you started, and you realize that the foundation is not good. Why should you build on it?
Okay.
You are building, and the building started developing a crack. Are you supposed to continue, or you stop and rectify the problem? But realize the case, we don't want to take view from anyone. And they are saying review means cancellation. I don't know why learned people will be behaving like that. And everyone is quiet.
Okay. I hear you.
So I think we deserve better.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm grateful that you could join us. And unfortunately, we can't pick any more calls. We have to go for a quick break. When we return from the break, we'll talk about breast milk because they say breast is best.
Come on. Good boy. Honey, look, he's crawling. Wow. Good job. The new Cerelac Wheat and Maize has the combined goodness of wheat and maize